and open.
Greetings, everybody. I am Batman. But in the meantime, I've got an antidote to synthesize, so in the meantime I shall have to leave you with Solidus-Skully, who's here to welcome you back to Batman Arkham Asylum. We are back in the Batcave, old chum, and, yeah, time to synthesize that antidote to the Titan formula. And it's also here where we also get our last gadget in the game. You see that corroded wall? It's ugly. Messes with the feng shui of the Batcave. We gotta do something about that.
How close are you to making the cure?
Close. It's been more difficult than I expected. The process is slow, difficult, and doesn't produce much antidote.
And the good news?
The chemical will definitely stop Ivy. It may also reverse the Titan transformation. I need to run some more tests to be sure. I've set the computer to create more, but I need to get out of here and find Ivy.
Thank God. Her plans have reached the Gotham River. Batman! Bruce, are you alright?
I'm fine.
Oh, my, that was a close one. But anyway, now it's time for the final gadget. Yes, that's right, like the old Batman comics of the 1930s, he's packing heat. There we go. Yep, we have the Batgun. No, and so we have the the Ultra Batclaw, sorry. That was called the Multi-Batclaw, but I might be thinking of something else, like multiple Batarangs. But yeah, what this gadget little does, well, as we'll be seeing in a moment, is that it pulls down structural surfaces that we couldn't otherwise get with the explosive gel, so it's ostensibly a way of doing functionally the same thing, except from far away, so it is slightly useful. It's just kind of a bit of a pointless wall between Riddler trophies, and yes, indeedy, Poison Ivy has blocked our way with plants. Which is kind of weird, because, I mean, depending on the continuity, isn't this something she can do naturally, or was she only afflicted by plant toxins and can only really communicate with plants rather than directly affect them? Yeah, whatever. Anyway, the point is, we have the antidote, we can inject Ivy with a little bit of Titan. Although, actually, I'm curious, I don't think we directly inject her, if I'm jumping the gun a little bit here, but it's neither here nor there in this case. Anyway, we have basically what's kind of more padding throughout the game. Okay, well, first of all, there's a little panoramic scenery view of a dark and gothic Spyro the Dragon, which is kind of weird because we already had a dark and gothic Spyro the Dragon thing with the Legend trilogy, but yeah, this is more traditional artisan Spyro. But yeah, in another, and again, something that the later games in the Arkham series tend to suffer from more than anything else is the fact that these games love to fucking distract you with a lot of side tangents. Like, I mean, again, in the meantime, our goal is to basically stop Joker's Titan formula, but oh, no, Ivy's running about, so I guess we gotta go stop her now. Except, oh, no, now we got something else to do, now we gotta escape from the Batcave that was destroyed by plants, oh, but then instead we're gonna be having something else to do, which we'll be getting to by the time we enter back into the sewers, and, you know, deal with more pish over there, so yeah, probably one of the more negative points of the Arkham games is that you deal with a shitload of tangents, and that can get rather distracting because, though you don't really have it in Arkham Asylum compared to, you know, City Origins and Night, you do tend to get a lot of side-questing stuff that usually crops up, which, I mean, it is divisible, and again, you don't have to do any of this, you can pretty much just continue on with the main plot as expected, but even in the main plot, and, one example from Arkham City that I'm actually going to bring up is, you know, the whole penguin and the frequency jamming array generator things. Yeah, that gets a little bit pissed because you're basically having to do a bunch of detours in order to get the thing that you want. God, and it just means that there's no rest for the Batman. But also from a gameplay perspective, it's also just a rather bit, you know, pish. Not necessarily entirely bad, mind you, because, I mean, you are still doing the gameplay goodness that you know and love, but, and again, I don't know whether or not this is just an internet reviewer thing that I've picked up over the years, but you tend to notice when, you know, the developers are trying to maximize the most out of their game time by panning it out with segments that feel kind of equivalent to when you're playing Dungeons & Dragons and, you know, it's like, oh yes, I'm a dungeon master, whoopity-doo, plus 10 dexterity, what are the gang gonna experience? Monster battle. So yeah, it's basically, I'm gonna coin the term, it's basically just the random encounter method of game development. Don't have anything to do, just throw a random gameplay sequence in between actual important stuff that achieves not really much of worth. By the way, there's Maxi Zeus. He's wearing a dress. Tee-hee, hoddle-ha, but he's also dead, so rest in peace. We were all shocked that he died by Quincy Sharp's hands. But thankfully, Mr. Sharp is locked away, never to be seen again. Or is he? Yeah, maybe he's busy dealing with his Gotham City proposal that we did see a while back, and I have no reason to put in the extras video anymore. Ah, yes, the sewers. Forever stanky, forever decrepit, but yes, this is also part of the reason why, again, unless of course you're having a bit of prep time like me as the Batman, yeah, there's also a lot of surfaces that you can use the Ultra Batclaw with, so again, you do get mileage out of the gadget, but at the same time, it's also like, we need a reason to segment off a lot of the Riddler trophies until the post-game when you've, you know, pretty much finished doing everything. Here's a Batclaw, but you can pull stuff down. Oh, fuck, that's good. Time for dinner. I'm sure the developers were thinking long and hard about that one. Anyway, we have these little plants that we did see earlier, but I figured I might as well just talk about here. Again, they launch spores, and depending on how quickly you're moving, they are motion sensitive. So again, if you're running about like a bull in a china shop, they will launch the spores quickly and home in on you and, you know, sap a bit of health away from Batman. But again, if you pretty much crawl across the ground and, you know, use your context-sensitive attack button, you can pretty much take them down no problem and get a bit of sweet, juicy experience. Delicious. And you can also tell how much longer you have before the spores release with the, basically with the context-sensitive light. Again, as you can see there, it's glowing redder and redder the closer you get to it. And by the time it hits red enough, it basically releases the spores. But again, you probably pretty much tell exactly what that did with the crazy guy that got attacked by it the first time you saw it a couple of parts ago, so really my commentary is just sort of pissing in the wind while Oracle explains exposition about what's going on here, because we have yet another side tangent about the Joker not being very scientifically careful about disposing of his waste product. Yeah, you see that green liquid? No, that isn't somebody having a bad reaction to some urine. No, that's actually a Titan byproduct. And that's going into the water facility, which I'm pretty sure the sewer treatment plants aren't exactly adept at dealing with, so yet another side tangent for the Batman? So yeah, we also gotta deal with that now, which also leads to by far one of the most pain-in-the-arse stealth segments in the game, and also one of the more dangerous brawls in the game, but you'll be seeing that towards the end of the part.
The Titan water seems to be corrosive, but it shouldn't trouble the suit. What have you found out?
I'm not sure you're ready for this.
No, but go ahead.
Joker's pumping all the waste product from the Titan process into that chamber. It acts as a kind of natural storage tank. Once it's full, it releases the water into the Gotham River. Normally, it's safe, but...
But this time it's full of Titan. How do I stop it?
I'm working on it.
And so, Batman now has to save the world from pollution, which, as we all know, is the greatest monster of them all. And provides yet another side tangent that we have to take care of, simply because of the fact that, well, there's no other superheroes in Gotham who could deal with this shit. Heck weashed. Where's Robin when you fucking need him? Yeah, so, this also comes to be a bit of a problem because I've expounded pretty much all the tangents that I really have to talk about in terms of the game, and, even in that case, there's really not much else to say that doesn't go into spoiler territory, really. I mean, there's more getting Riddler trophies and stopping the sewer pumps to prevent the water from flooding Gotham City, but that's just all that we really have to do here. I mean, I suppose at this point I'm really just sort of itching to get back to Birth by Sleep just to finish it off. I mean, not that I haven't been enjoying my time with Arkham Asylum or whatever, but yeah, it's, I mean, it's been fun, but I mean, at the same time, there's also been a lot of segments where, you know, there just isn't really too much to say otherwise. Well, I mean, then again, it's also been a fairly lengthy bit of time since I've... Huh. Interesting. Well, I mean, yeah, that's pretty much what happens when you have triple batarangs. It's it can be quite useful for when you're taking down multiple thugs, particularly beneath gargoyles, where you can pretty much just swoop down and, you know, knock them all out at once, but I don't find myself using them too often. But anyway, back to what I was saying earlier. Yeah, I've had fun with Arkham Asylum, but again, I've still got a great fucking swath of Birth by Sleep to record, and I want to get that out of the way so I can, you know, pretty much just get back to doing other games. Well, I mean, I suppose, and even in that case, I probably have more of stuff to talk about with Birth by Sleep than I do with Batman Arkham Asylum. Which, I mean, again, I suppose to sort of talk about it again, is a game that I do really like, and I am hard-pressed to say is one of my favourite Arkham games, but to be honest, I kind of like all of them to varying degrees, really. I mean, I don't know, it's a very fun series that I kind of like on an equal level, which is probably the best case scenario, because it means I can pretty much pick up any game and have a decent time with it. But yeah, these are pretty much the two areas you need to explore. All you really need to do is basically begin the whole sort of cryptographic sequence, shut down the pumps, make sure you do it before the whole Joker gas thing explodes and, you know, ruins your day. And that's pretty much all she wrote. Am I still searching for Riddler trophies? Or maybe I'm just looking for one last thing? One more thing. I'm pretty sure that's it, I'm just being overly paranoid. But then again, you cannot afford to be careless when dealing with my arch-enemy, the Riddler. And another Killer Croc interview tape. You'll be seeing a bit of that towards the end of the video, which, again, I already talked about Killer Croc's character, how he's very sort of misanthropic and bestial, and yeah, that really does give us a good insight into his character. Very dangerous and scary. Also, he doesn't finish his meal, cause he's on a rampage. Yeah. Oh, how I wish the double takedown was a thing in this game. No, it isn't a thing in this game, sadly. Yeah, God, you really don't know how much you miss the Arkham City combat until you do. Stupid Joker teeth. I hate this place, I hate it! But yeah, one of these is easier than the other. One leads to a stealth segment, the other of which leads to, well, basically just a small arena area, beat up a few thugs, and that's pretty much that. And yeah, that's nothing really important to talk about in this case. Riddler. This was also me trying to remember whether or not I was going to the hard one first, which is what I wanted to take out, or the easy one. That was the easy one, I think. Whatever. I guess I'll figure it out a bit later. More Joker teeth. Can you tell the segment is padded because you're not really doing much of interest? And I mean, at the very least, with other points in the game, you usually have Joker being a bit more entertaining, but again, it's kind of clear that this was sort of tacked on to extend the gameplay, because, yeah, not much really happens here apart from the challenge of the stealth section itself. Again, you do have multiple points of entry, you do have plenty of gargoyles, but at the same time, you can't afford to be careless, because maybe it's due to the way in which they've placed a lot of the enemies in terms of where they patrol and, you know, how they sort of gather together and become a bit more used to Batman's creeping habits, but yeah, there is a lot more at play here, so if you are careless like I am, because spoiler alert, I die here, yeah, you were kind of gonna bring your A game here, but actually, are there any more stealth segments after this? I don't think there is, because it's, once we're done with the sewer pump area, it's pretty much a straight shooter off to the Botanical Gardens, which even then is nowhere near the harrowing trip that it was beforehand, so yeah. I mean, I guess this pretty much was the go big or go home segment, but yeah, nothing really to say here. This was also me trying to make use out of my multiple batarangs. It didn't really work because I recovered rather quickly, so that was a mistake. Yes, guns are painful. That is how Batman's parents died. And in order to escape, again, I can't believe I'm waiting until now to explain this. In order to escape from gunfire, pretty much jump between multiple gargoyles, but not like it's really going to save you at this point, so this is pretty much me hiding away like a little bat pussy. Or at least hoping to string them up a little bit more, but at this point they probably would have teamed together because, well, the goons are smarter at this stage, and sadly things aren't going to go very well. That queashed. I really don't have much more to say at this point. This stealth segment is, wee bit pish. And again, even if you do access the generator ahead of time, you know, use your cryptographic sequencer to, you know, disable the pumps, the guards will pretty much be alerted going, "Hey, Batman's here!" And you can't exactly leave because you pretty much have this little error message saying, "Defeat all the inmates to continue" portion, which is pretty much the equivalent of like those little Curse-Your Wars in Devil May Cry, or, you know, the whole beat-em-up thing of beat up thugs to continue. And that kind of sucks, because you can't continue with the game, so you gotta beat people up, and that's just a wee bit pish. Alley-oop! Yes. I love stringing up the guards, but sadly, it will not serve me well. I should have just taken him out right there. Oh, I did. And that will lead to my downfall. Because I failed to notice that the two of them were very buddy-buddy. Here we go. Batman! There we go. Got to the end of the sequence, and we are pretty much done here. Although I'm pretty sure I edited to the point where I took care of it in the other room as opposed to the original one, but rest assured, I did take care of the things similar to this, so really you're not missing much. As you can no doubt tell with my struggle for commentary. Actually, so, yeah, I'm pretty much out of it, so, yeah, I'm gonna do a bit of a commentary faux pas and talk about my day. Or at least what I've been playing recently. Well, I mean, I recently tackled the story update, for Sonic Frontiers, The Final Horizon. Honestly, though, it's hard as balls, and, again, despite some of the trials really fucking relying on you to bring your A game, I actually quite enjoyed it. The final boss is a vast improvement over the final boss of Sonic Frontiers Vanilla, and, yeah, ultimately I'm pretty happy with it. Again, like, I mean, it's hard as fuck, and I've heard a lot of people really having a lot of problems with it to the point where they actively need to pause buffer certain things, but I don't know, it's impossible. I actually quite enjoy the Final Horizon. But yeah, this is also, I don't want to say it's our final massive brawl of the game, because again, you do have others that you can sort of attempt, but yeah, this is also one of the harder areas because you're in a very enclosed space, and again, if you're not adept at counterattacks and knowing how to deal with the Titan, well, then you're pretty much buggered, my friend. So yeah, and on top of that, it's also the whole thing of, oh no, there's another Titan boss fight. Boys, bring him some help. But yeah, I'm primarily focused on, you know, taking down the Titan, because again, that's pretty much the meatiest fucker in order to take people out, but yeah, again, you can potentially make this easier by doing the little Titan rodeo thing, by going spin your partner around and round, slap him in the ass, and take him down. But yeah, more gets at it as the fight goes on, and yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it at this point. I mean, even in that case, you would still have to wonder why any of these people are really going along with what Joker has to say. I mean, Batman's proven himself very capable, but I don't know, maybe they're hoping that he's too tired? Whatever. Slap. Yeah, but yes, thankfully the Titans also don't have the healing properties that Bane has, so nothing really to worry about except for the tightness of the arena. Either way, actually, can the Titan take out the thugs? No, I don't think so. I mean, when what I'm talking about when it does its little charging move, but it's something to experiment with, I suppose. I suppose this could be a potentially good place to use Batman's throw move, like if you want to throw them into the electrical gates for an instant knockout, but I don't know, I probably wouldn't really recommend it given the tightness of the arena and, you know, the fact that you also have this big fucker bumbling about going slap, slap, bumbling about like a little drunkard. Yeah, I pretty much recommend getting your combo multiplier up as much as possible, breaking people's arms, and using the instant takedown as much as possible. And yeah, this was also one of the reasons why it did sort of necessitate the whole health upgrade thing. Because, yeah, you can be a bit butterfingers at the controls, and, again, it might not seem like it, but that pip damage can be a bit costly as it builds up over time. Like, I mean, you do have to worry about the Titan Thug, obviously, and, you know, using his attack where he does throw bodies at you, but yeah, the regular thugs, they can build up over time. Which, I mean, I suppose I might as well go into it again, like, I mean, the sign of a boss design. I was actually rewatching the, Streets of Rage 1 commentary while I was editing, Silent Hill Downpour not too long ago, and I was actually kind of getting to thinking, like, that old criticism that I had where, again, the sign of design, you know, when you have to throw in, like, little pish mooks to make up for the fact that your boss fights are kinda kappa shit. I don't know, it does sort of make me wonder, really, like, I mean, is it a decent boss design, or are you literally, or is this like a remnant of, oh no, we have to throw in the Little Thugs to give the second player beat-em-up character something to do? And whether or not that's a bit of design that just sort of ebbed and flowed over the years and sunk in ways that developers might not have expected? Or is it just a convenient way of padding things out and pretending to add quote-unquote challenge, where there isn't really much challenge, it's more so just throwing everything in the kitchen sink of the player and hoping they can survive? That's truly a mystery, and I'm personally thinking it's more the latter in this case, because given the fact that they pretty much reused the Titan boss fights time and time again, it's clear that they really didn't have many methods of varietizing the combat and really having many boss fights to behold. Either that, or maybe they were saving it for Arkham City, who knows really, but either way, it's, I don't know, it's probably the 1/10 of Arkham Asylum, where a lot of its boss fights are pretty much the weakest link. But, thankfully though, in the next part, we will actually be getting a rather unique boss fight, so look forward to that. Although, it's not necessarily that great either, but, I mean, it's something new to talk about at least, which God knowing I certainly fucking need as we get towards the end game at this stage.
I watched in silence as
Starting to get closer to the present day, I wonder. Yes, make use of that Ultra Bat Claw. Yes, indeed, we do have gadgets, and we will, by God, make you want to use them in that Insomniac Games kind of way, where we will force it down your throat as much as possible to maximize the most out of our gameplay concepts. Not a bad thing, mind you, but it does kind of show developers desperately trying to get variety as much as they possibly can. There is no spoon. Why couldn't that have been the way that we dispatched the Titan? That would have been fucking... Well, actually, no, hang on, I just remembered the Batman no-kill code. Quist, well, you know, he was already turning into a monster, so it would have been okay. Finally, we're nearly out of this decrepit hellhole. We'll never have to see the sewers again, except in the Riddler Trophy cleanup video, so, on that note, I am Solidus-Skully. Keep it new metal, and next time on Batman Arkham Asylum... well, we've got to go back to the Botanical Gardens to pay Poison Ivy a visit, but in the meantime, I shall leave you with the interview tapes of Killer Croc. Catch you next time.
Is he here yet? You're kidding me, right? That thing's not a man. My God!
Hello. My name is Dr. Gretchen Whistler. Do you understand me?
Yeah, I hear you, bitch. So when's dinner? I'm getting hungry.
Taped patient session 2. Patient name Waylon Jones, aka Killer Croc.
So, is this the part where you try and reason with me? Find out why I did it, Doc.
We're here to help you, Mr. Jones.
You got a cure for me then, Doc? Can you make me normal?
Normal is a poor choice of words. No one's really normal, are they?
Figured as much. So, how about this, Doc? You let me go now, and I won't eat you.
You don't really eat people. It's just an urban myth.
Oh, you think? Keep believing that, Doc.
Sit down and shut up!
You think I'm scared of you, Cash? I've got your scent. You're...
And I've got yours too. Know what? It stinks! Carry on, Doc.
Please don't do that again, Mr. Cash. It's not helping. I'm sorry about the problem, but what can we do if you insist on hospitalizing 3 guards?
Strap on whatever you like, Doc. This thing just tickles. I'm happy to wait here. Wait for the bat. He'll be back.
Patient interview, Valen Jones. Progress has been slow. What happened back in that house?
Just business.
Business? What kind of business practices result in a house full of mutilated corpses?
I don't like having my time wasted. Someone doesn't pay. They need a lesson. They owed me.
So you killed them, tore up their bodies. The police never found all the pieces.
They should have looked in the sewers.
Are you saying you hid them there?
After a while. Usually takes about 8 hours.
Time to go, Brock. Get up.
Patient interview, Waylon Jones, a.k.a. Killer Croc. Last night, the patient was pacified after a breakout attempt. Gardarin Cash is in hospital. Reports state that the patient attacked Cash and in the struggle consumed his left hand. Cash is lucky to be alive. He lost a lot of blood.
Me too. I nearly choked on that bony hand of his.
That's disgusting. He could have died.
He's just food to me. And once I get a taste, I want the rest of the meal. You know what I mean.
Get him out of here. Now.
Got your scent too, lady. I'll see you around.